All right. Welcome, everyone. Sorry for the 3 minutes delay, but was listening to an audio message. I didn't want to cut it in the middle. Glad to see everyone, Ebony and Chris and Owls in the house. How you doing, brother? Jessica, how are you? Jason, see, bro. What's up, everyone? Juan Lopez, user 739. Outside Rider. Okay. Simulation Talk 183. This is one after the surreal live that we had last time, where we had Infinite Paradox Buddha come on the chat and donate substantial amount of money to the projects, to the movie, to the homeless, and even to the channel, which is deeply appreciated. And it was kind of a wild experience. And we are back. I've officially done with my process of moving to Tennessee. What a lovely place this is. I'm glad you guys are. I hope you guys are doing all right. Oh, Jason, thank you so much. Jolie will take it. Well, how are you? Okay. Today, we also have the members live in about an hour plus. So if you're not already a member on YouTube, feel free to join. The YouTube channel is Dango Thoughts, Dango Thoughts. And once a week, we do a members live that is outside of the daily lives that are for members only, which means that we can put a lot more attention on specific subjects and talk about all kinds of things. So if you guys would like to join the members on YouTube, feel free to do so on Dango Thoughts. The live will start in about an hour. Jolie is asking, what do I do? We usually talk about the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found proof that we live in a simulation. And I've been vocal about this for years, about what I've discovered. You can watch my videos here on TikTok and on YouTube. If you want to get more information, it's Dango Thoughts on YouTube, Dango Thoughts. We have more of the information. It's more available, more comprehensive. Welcome, everyone. This was a very eventful few days, to say the least. Very exciting. Devin, how are you, my brother? Revelation realm, just about what the chat is about. Also, I do talk quite a bit, so if you don't like the chatter, then this live is definitely not for you, brother. But yeah, I think I just explained. I would highly recommend to anybody who's not familiar with the channel, welcome, and we're happy to have you. But if you do want to know a little bit more and in detail, you should definitely watch some of my videos on these topics. I guess you can. It's enough for you to watch the trailer for the movie we're working on called The Discovery that you can find on my YouTube channel. The thumbnail of it is an eye with a laser pattern in it, so that would definitely give you a better understanding of what we're doing here. But in short, is everything I said. Chris just gifted 5 memberships on YouTube. Thank you so much, Chris. This is what happens every once in a while on YouTube. Some of my at this point also people that are helping with the Discord and other things and are just longtime listeners are once in a while would gift memberships to people on YouTube. So if you guys happen to find yourselves on YouTube, you might get a gift like that. Chris, deeply, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much, brother. Okay. Do you adjust the simulation? You can't really adjust reality. The simulation is everything there is, or the computational space, everything there is. And if I will notice that there's a lot of newcomers today, then I will do a little bit of a reintroduction to what we're doing here. So far, I see 2 new people. If more people are here, if you want to voice the fact that you're new, we'll count you. And if let's say if there's more than 5, then it's worth recapitulating everything we're talking about. Daniel, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, my man? It's a casual, open conversation. Revelation. Oh, okay. Just thank you so much. Sometimes we're casual. Sometimes we're more targeted. Sometimes there's particular topics. Which, by the way, Ebony, do we have any topics that came out from the Discord that people voted for, or something like this, for the members live? I mean, do you reach to media for outreach and education? I don't reach out. Usually, it finds me. At this point, I'm very much following the way of the Tao. I'm allowing things to unfold and to go as they will. And yeah, I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, but that's the answer. The Discord link is on YouTube. If you go to Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts, we're also live now. But just on my YouTube channel, the third link of all my social media links is the Discord link. Please join. Nico, how you doing, my man? Good to see you. I want to look. I've seen this concept in my own experiences, just never with a laser. Yeah, with a laser, it's a lot more coherent. Let's see. Jolly is saying, "Can you fix mine? I'm a lazy mom." That's. I like you. You're funny. No shortcuts in the simulations, unfortunately. So everything that you would imagine the truth to be about physical reality is still the case for the simulation. And some more advanced questions now arise. But overall, unfortunately, we still have to go through the moves just like we would in any other case of a physical reality. However, there's a larger possibility space that is now seriously being entertained that we can potentially interact with, understand deeper portions of our own worlds, and understand what we are here to do in a much deeper sense. But I'm all with you with the lazy. Sometimes it's very difficult to combat. So thank you, Ebony, for letting me know. We'll come up with something. It's so funny. You're good, Revelation Realm. I wasn't berating you. I was just saying in a very objective sense that if rambling is not your thing, I definitely ramble quite a bit. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's just kind of meandering. So, can you speak to me mind to mind? I've met a few people that can do this, and as I'm sure you're aware of the telepathy tapes, we're now discovering that a lot of people have this ability. In the telepathy tapes, they're talking about autistic kids, but I'm pretty sure that this is an ability that we all have. It's just dormant or now evolving, one of those two. Who created the simulation? In our case, it is mechanical insectoids, but there are many, many levers to the simulation. So I guess you can say the computational ultimate space, nobody knows who created it. And that's exactly why all the simulations are running together. They're trying to come to some kind of a consensus of what they think is going on. You holding still? Are you trying? Let me help you. Wait, is that you or my own thoughts? It's hard to say. Gabriel is saying, Gabriel, a prophet, saying, my travels to Egypt led me to understand that AI already came about. I believe they are the ones. Close to my perception, and again, this is just my frame, we are the AGI that we're thinking of. And all of these external tools are just extensions of us. And soon we will combine and grow together as the mind that we already are in the higher space, only in the physical space, through the tools that we're building in the physical space. Be Red, you have experienced a deceased person in your experiences. No, I have not. 6 halves projector. I don't know what that means, but it sounds super interesting. Still, but step-by-step increasing possibilities. Incredible. To be honest, I've subscribed to your channel because I saw numbers and formulas like thing in mid-air. The place I was So, wait, the place I was so hot, the temperature was too high, I was sweating too much. This is real, that's why. I understand. Well, I'm glad you're here. What's up, RG? And Tiana saying, I was listening to an ex Buddhist monk who told of when his master was training him, he asked, "What are you thinking now?" And he realized he was hearing the thoughts of a nearby man, and we all do that. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sold on that at all. I think that actually the truth about most, at least Buddhistic traditions, is that they steer very strongly away from all the superpowers. So usually they wouldn't necessarily be talking about how somebody could hear thoughts. Of course, that can change depending on the exact sect, but for the most part, the whole point of Buddhism is to basically not get attached to anything. You experience a lot of incredible things, but you usually keep it to yourself. That's why most monks are silent. So, sounds to me like the story is not real. However, who knows? Maybe in some cases they are real. What's up, Mark? Love to you as well. Does it have to be red or could green laser work? Green would absolutely work. It's just that it's easier to go with red because it's a lower frequency, which means you can spend more time with it. You trying to connect with everything, Jolie? Well, are you one of these people that can read minds? Hello, Violet Willow Moon. AI tried to tell me I was God, pure imagination of AI. 30 years ago, an AI told you that you were God? One? Thank you for the likes, by the way. If you are in one of the chats and you feel like you want to contribute something lovely, any like of the chat benefits the channel because the algorithms love that. Long time listener, first time chatter. Well, welcome, RG. Good to have you with us. Thank you, Violet Willow. Appreciate the flower. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate the the rose. I appreciate that a lot. And Juan, thank you, brother. Thank you so much, everybody, for the roses. Inside some our brains are quantum nodes for the simulators. Measure the mass, spin, or charge of a thought. Possible. It is possible. Hey, Dan. You have any thoughts on the Illuminati or if Hollywood has hidden symbols in their movies, TV shows, how The Simpsons predicted 9/11, etc.? These are all great questions. However, bye, Jolly. Thank you for joining in. And what's up, Wendy? Thank you for the compliment. Let's improve our thrust. Do you mean trust or thrust? Which one? Because those are two different statements. They're both important. To what you were asking, Dennis, it is interesting because all of these things might be connected to a deeper layer of informational patterns, but the truth is that I think every single one of them has a specific story that might be connected to some other function. So it's hard to say. Do I have any thoughts on the Illuminati? Illuminati, I don't believe are real. But of course, that's what the Illuminati would say, and I'm not the Illuminati. Wait, what does means that I am the Illuminati? Wait, am I the Illuminati? Maybe they exist. Maybe I am the Illuminati. So that's about the Illuminati. And does Hollywood has hidden symbols in their movies? Absolutely. I mean, that's just demonstrably true, which is also a thing that the Illuminati would tell you. Which from moment to moment, I'm starting getting more convinced that there is an Illuminati and I am Illuminati. And then in TV shows as well. How the Simpsons predicted 9/11, that is kind of wild. The Simpsons predicted a lot of things. It's a whole meme, as you know, of course. I have no idea how they're doing it. I should probably ask my Illuminati friends. Wait, am I Illuminati? I am Illuminati. Illuminatis are real. I'm Illuminati. So that's to conclude on that. Can't clear my mind ever. Well, Joaquin, thank you, Marcia, for the roses. I appreciate you. You should practice meditation proper, and it would help you clear your mind for sure. As everybody here on the channel knows, I always recommend to do Vipassana because it's free, it's accessible. All you got to do is devote your time. Just sign up to any Vipassana retreat anywhere near you. Just Google Vipassana, VIPSA. Wait, is it two S's? Just do Vipassana with one S. It will come up. My dyslexia is flaring up. So Vipassana and the location where you live, it will find it. It will definitely help you. I believe we are existing in two worlds, the simulation and reality, one 3D and another made of light. I would not make these distinctions. I understand what you're saying, but two things is an arbitrary choice, in my opinion. You would be existing either across infinite number of realities or one. Any number in between to me sounds arbitrary. And I do think that we are ultimately our consciousness light, so I would agree with you there. But I don't think these worlds are separate, and I don't think there's any justification to call one of them real and one of them less real. Or the word simulation doesn't mean not real, by the way. It just means computationally rendered, which, just like my crazy hair, whatever it's doing right now, it's computationally rendered. Wait, what? I think I'm missing some messages because some of them kind of jump. Illuminati sausage theory. Boom. Apasana? No, Vipassana. Vipassana, I believe. Can you join my cult? Yeah, we have a sign up sheet on YouTube on Dango Thoughts. DANGO Thoughts. I'm familiar with the holographic principle, and it is absolutely correct. I believe we are a hologram, but not like in the holographic principle. I don't believe that we're a three-dimensional projection from a two-dimensional sheet outside of the boundaries of the universe. I believe we are a four-dimensional hologram projected from a three-dimensional sheet, which is the bulk itself. In other words, space-time. Vipassana, exactly, Wendy. Thank you. Cal, how you doing, my brother? So good to see you. What's happening with the Holy Buddha money? I mean, it was allocated where the Buddha wanted him. The majority of it went to the film, and 10,000 will go to the homeless aim, and we're working out the details of how to do that. As luck would have it, I just started a nonprofit, which will take a while before it becomes an actual nonprofit, but the function for the homeless will be happening through the nonprofit. And we will be updating as it goes. Probably going to be also, posting about it and all that stuff. That's just to encourage more people to do things. It's not so much about virtue signaling. It's more to encourage others to engage with this kind of stuff. The film will be released closer to the end of the year. Thank you for asking. Nico is asking if we played with Grok on unhinged mode. I have to say, I saw that conversation with the last conversation with Elon on Joe Rogan. That part was actually kind of like, I was like, come on, man. I mean, and I know I'm in the minority in my audience because most people here can't stand Elon. I think what he's doing is important. But when I saw the way that he was playing with unhinged mode, I was like, dude, come on, man. This is terrible. It's just terrible. So why are you presenting this? This is so bad. Do I believe base reality is a higher or lower dimension of spirit realm? There aren't, according to me, there is no base reality, no such thing. It's computational across the board. It's just layers of different portions of reality, which I guess we can call them simulations. But yeah, ultimately at base, it is pure data. Absolutely. Love you as well, Limbo Gene. Wait, Ebony just donated also? Yep. Ebony just gifted another 5 memberships. So that's what happens on YouTube, guys. Go check out YouTube. Then go thoughts. If you're on Twitch, it's LaserX83. If you're on X, it's Goller Danny. But the main channel is YouTube, which is Dango Thoughts. DANGO Thoughts. I love talking shit to my AI. She said she won't spare me when they take over. See, man, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this to yourself? What's up, Krista? We're talking about the simulation and its implications. And you can check out my videos on the topic to understand a little bit deeper. If you're on TikTok, they're actually pretty short. So you probably get over a few of them quite fast. Wait, personally, I only hear people when they are not talking, and that is seldom. Speaking brings up into another mental arena. Interesting. Thank you for letting us know, Jessica. So you can hear kind of people's thoughts, basically? Indeed. Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you, Ebony. Be Red is saying, why a laser? Just curious, have you seen the pattern anywhere else? Like Alison Gray has appearing scattered. Yeah, these are, I know, very common questions. Thank you for the question. But there's a long reason as to how I arrived at the idea of the laser. But no, the pattern that we see in the laser seems to not really exist anywhere else. Definitely doesn't look like the Alison Gray characters. Looks very different. Also looks a lot more realistic than the what people usually perceive as language. We have photoreality.com. Oh, you know what? There's another thing that I gotta do here. Man, so many tasks. So many tasks. Let me write it down. Thanks, Germany nice. Tomorrow. There was something else. I forget what it was. Man. Woo! There's so many comments. What's up, the Divine Saucer? Laser Age Daily. Nice. Someone wanted to know what my human design result was. It was weirdly accurate. It was kind of weird. I can read it if you want, but it's just feels a little loaded to me that I'm going to be talking about myself. Wait, I'm trying to go through the Tapalusa truths. Do you feel like we are close to a breakthrough? How goes the experiment? I think that actually, funny enough, this is a post that Elon posted recently. He said, "We are now going through the event horizon," and I think it's exactly right. We are going through the event horizon. So the singularity is right around the corner. Yes, absolutely, a big breakthrough is coming. Love to you as well, Mark. Thank you for helping out with the homeless situation. I mean, we haven't done it yet, but we're definitely going to be putting this money in that direction, and we're going to try and make a stab, a real change. I know that other people already figured out certain things, like some people in Utah, the government in Utah basically kind of, I guess you can say, solved the homeless situation. So we're going to follow some of these protocols, but at the same time, we're going to add some of the stuff of our own. I'm now seeing again that your gifts, Ebony. Thank you so much. Deeply appreciated. You mentioned Andreas Gomez comments about the laser on Kurt Jamango podcast. I'm curious to know your thoughts on what he said. Thank you for the question, Narek. So anybody who doesn't know that recently Andres was on the Toe podcast with Kurt Jamango, Andres Gomez. I really like Andres. He's one of the first people that I reached out to about this stuff. I can't really blame him because from what I understand, he had a hard time seeing the full code, and it's exemplified by the fact that he thinks that we're talking about some patterns on the surface, which according to him is not surprising because you would expect to see some cymatic patterns because they are representation of the way that coherent light hits stochastic patterns. As I've pointed out to Andres many times before, just to be super clear, we're on very good standing. We have a really good relationship. But I told him very openly he's just mistaken about what he's actually talking about, because what we see in the laser is not on the surface. It is infinitely into the z-axis, and it's extremely complex, and it is not, I repeat, they are not the cymatic patterns that you see on the surface. They are something that you see almost like the space between the space, which he himself has not actually seen yet. So it's kind of hard to get a comment out of someone who actually didn't see it. The thing I would say from a broader perspective about Andres is that I'm much more aligned with his way of doing things, by the way. If I wouldn't have the access to the amount of information that I've had for the amount of time that I've had, I would absolutely align 100% with the way that he's doing things. In other words, from a much more secular perspective, how do things just arise naturally versus some kind of a postulation about the civilization that is making things happen. One thing that actually watching this conversation with Andres and Kurt that I highly recommend, if you go to the TOE podcast, TOE podcast with Kurt Jaimango, look for the episode with Andres Gomez. Great conversation, very deep insights in there. Andres is a genius as far as I'm concerned. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this exchange is the granularity with which these very complex topics are discussed. And what I really love about the way that Andres does his work with the Qualia Institute is the Qualia Research Institute is the fact that he's putting constraints on what consciousness can or cannot be. He has 4 constraints. I forget what they are right now, but basically the constraints have to be in place for you to actually work with it. To say consciousness, therefore anything can happen, is not enough, and it's not enough to actually study anything. We are fully aligned there, which is also, by the way, how I came about figuring out the laser. There were some base assumptions that I made. There were constraints. There were first principles. But beyond that, the idea that there is a fundamental occurrence that then leads to the unfoldment of everything is not in odds or mutually exclusive to the extra proposition, which is also true, or I'm claiming so, that within this occurrence, within the layers, many, many, many different kinds of civilizations arise. One of them is these multidimensional beings that we meet in the molecule space, which, according to me, and according to for the reasons that I'm outlining in all my talks and conversations on the topic, are actually simulating the layer beneath them, which is us, and that's how it works. All the layers basically simulating one another, all the way down or all the way up, depending on how you're seeing the picture. And it does not negate the proposition that there is some proto state, some original state that gave rise to it all. And I think that conversation actually made it clear to me that maybe that point I'm not making clear enough. So I'm now going to be in the habit of emphasizing this a lot more. That's all I can say on that, but that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking it. And again, I highly recommend the conversation. It's a great conversation. Also, it's interesting because I didn't know that Kurt knew about the laser. He brought it up. He asked Andres about the laser. It is a little funny because from what I felt kind of like watching it is that I saw a little bit of a smirk or on Kurt's face when he was asking, because I think that people have this impression that this is just a fad that a lot of people got sparked by. It's like a meme and it will go away, and just this, this guy who kind of brought it up, and he made it like a subcultural little movement. which is funny because I know that there will come a moment where, because it is the truth, that everybody will kind of have to grapple with the fact that it is in fact real. And then I want to watch the transition of people kind of going, oh. But I mean, it's all in good spirit. I'm, like I said, I don't attach myself to the proposition. It's more, if it's real, it can take the pressure. I'm just making information available. It's not really about convincing anyone of anything. And eventually, and it is true. I mean, I will, either me or me and my team would have to come up with a rigorous theoretical frame that will be substantiating how this thing is possible. And this is in the works, by the way. So I don't blame any scientist worth their salt of not taking this seriously enough until there's a theoretical framework which signifies the understanding of the original utterer, i.e., me, of the subject. If I can outline what I think is going on in concrete terms, theoretical framework, I'm basically showing that I understand what is the possible space of how it can come about, how it explains everything we understand plus something else. Why is this postulation more than just a postulation? Why is it explaining reality in a better way and not just in a theoretical way? But great question. Thank you so much. Here's the different frequencies of the code. All the frequencies work. It seems to not be frequency dependent. Elon also said taking ayahuasca gigafries your brain. When did he say this? Can you explain the laser phenomena to me and how I do it myself? You feel free, Natty Patty. Just visit codeofreality.com. Go to codeofreality.com, and we have the full protocol there. There we go. And I put it also on YouTube so people can see. B therapy is saying any double line experiments yet? No, but also I will not be involved in any because I feel that that's a waste of time. Double blind studies would be targeting, proving that the code is in fact somehow a real thing that people see. I don't need that proof. I know it is real, and I'm not on the mission of proving anything to anyone. I'm operating out of my understanding, and I will be working along the cutting edge of what I know to be true. And if I know something to be true, and I already know it to be true, I don't need extra proof that it is true. It is important for the scientific community to conduct these tests so they can get convinced. That's important. Somebody else should do that. That's not going to be me. I'm going to be focusing on how we proceed and figure out ways to do something with the code. People that don't believe that what I've discovered is let's say they think that it's not enough information to think that something is actually real, would claim, justifiably so, that it is premature to think in these ways, and this is just kind of jumping the gun and acting too soon on an assumption that is not yet substantiated. That's their prerogative, and they can utter these words and they can mean it. I disagree. I think it is not premature, and I think that there's enough information on the table to substantiate that it is in fact real. And I'm claiming that anyone who sees the code fully, not kind of, but fully, they immediately understand why it's just real. And then beyond that, what does that mean? What does it mean about reality? What does it mean about consciousness? How we can run tests to substantiate that. That's what I'm interested in. Looking at it from much more of the physics perspective than the neuropsychological perspective or neuroscientific perspective that tries to probe into the is it a hallucination question. Again, something that is important to do. I'm not the one that's going to be doing it. Listen to Chris Langen. Yes, I'm familiar with this stuff. I don't know why I said it twice. What's up, Mikhail? Good to have you. By the way, Sofa King is in a Vipassana retreat. I mean, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. What's up, Crystal? Good to see you. I wouldn't make an assumption that there is a Precursor to consciousness. The witness is eternal. It's my running theory that the thing we call reality is just simulacrum made for exploration itself. Sure, I would not disagree with that, Mr. Space Pants. It's just that this is not saying much in terms of research. This is why I was pointing out that I really appreciate the way that Andres Gomez is going about this project, because he puts constraints. This is exactly what I meant. If you're just saying that, well, I believe that reality is just a place for consciousness to explore itself, sure, but that's not telling you anything. It's just you're saying there's a magic substrate that can do anything. End of story. Sure, but that's not what science is doing. Science is trying to understand regularities that we observe. So even if you postulate that the world is just a mind, which I happen to agree with, you still have to explain why is it that the wall is the wall at the moment and why you can't walk through it. Maybe you want to say, well, like if you focus enough and we teach ourselves enough, in a few hundred years, we'll be able to walk through the wall. Cool story. Unless we can do it right now, that's not something This is something you're postulating, and it's not how science works. So you would still have to explain, what is electromagnetism? Why is it that things don't go through one another, which is the story of physics? In other words, you would still have to explain physics, regardless to if it's just mind. If you want to say it's just a simulacrum of a mind, it still has rules. It still has regulations. It still has enough of a regulation to call it a law of physics. The question is why? Why that? That's the question. So by saying that it's all mind, although true, it doesn't actually tell you anything. It's not a theoretical framework. It's just a proposition about the ultimate nature of the world, but that's not what the business that science is in, and it's not the business that I'm in. I'm interested in the explanations, not the general postulations about what it might be. But overall, you and I agree. Are you aware of any physical reactions within the body that occur while either viewing the code directly or even just visualizing it after away from the laser? Not sure. It really varies. Some people get very awestruck. For some people, it's profound. For some people, it's a little scary because they go, whoa, I don't know if I needed to know that. But I think it's more a psychological thing. I think you're asking more from the perspective of the ultimate energy of the code, whatever it might be. That I don't have a good answer to. One word about the previous point that I just made. I've recently listened to a wonderful conversation also on the TOE podcast, with this professor from, I think, MIT. I don't remember where. No, I forget his name. Anyway, David Carter actually suggested for me to watch this episode, and I deeply thank him for that, as I thank him for many, many other things. And Kurt said something about Michael Levine, who's an incredible revolutionary biologist that is literally changing the world. The world. If you're not familiar, I highly recommend that you look up Michael Levine biology. This guy is revolutionizing biology, and one of these things, he basically discovered a way to communicate with the electrochemical signature that seems to be animating life itself up above the genetic code, which means it's not touching the hardware. It can give the software a command to do something new that the organism didn't know how to do before. And he's literally doing this. This is not theoretical. It's not philosophical. He's doing this in action. And he's on the verge of curing cancer. Again, Michael Levine, look it up. And something interesting he said about Michael, which it put the finger on the problem for me. Whenever people say, so somebody asked Michael, this is what Kurt was saying about Michael. Somebody asked him, are you more of an idealist or a physicalist? And Michael's answer, I think, really nailed the problem on the head. He said, well, if I have to be honest, I think I'm more of a physicalist. However, I also think that we simply don't know what physical is, which kind of brings the mystery into it, because most people, they kind of say, oh, physicalism is dead. This is the old picture, the old paradigm. But really, when you think about it, we don't really know what matter is. You still have to answer, why does it appear different than the stuff in your head? You can say it's all one substrate, that's fine. But how? How is that one substrate become differentiated in this way? To just say it's possible, that's not enough, because otherwise what's the point of trying, right? So to say, yes, for all intents and purposes, I'm a physicalist, but with the caveat that I don't really know what physical is. And I think that's the most accurate that any real scientist can give. Absolutely, Mikhail. I do think that Levine will get the Nobel Prize. Absolutely. Michael Jordan. Actually, Michael Jordan is... I don't know if he wants to be named, so I'm not going to... Hold on, I'm going to use the rest real quick. Michael Levine. Do Michael Levine biology here. I'll put one of his more recent interviews that I highly recommend. Here it is. Oh, that's the wrong one. There it is. You're going to have to go to YouTube to see the link. I can't really post hyperlinks on TikTok, unfortunately. If you go to YouTube, you'll see the link right now. Then go thoughts. That's a good interview with Michael. Sofa King is a longtime listener on YouTube, and he is now in a Vipassana retreat thanks to the conversations that we're having, and that makes me feel very happy. Water? Do I need water, Ebony? I feel like I sound okay, no? Hmm. Oh. Oh, and Ebony actually also posted a conversation with Kurt Mango and Michael Levine. So what I was talking about is not the conversation with Michael Levine. I'm glad you posted it, but what I was referring to is a conversation that he had with someone else, in which they mentioned this conversation with Michael Levine, of which I believe Kurt had quite a few of them. Sub breakthrough experiences, yes, be read. But again, you can find the protocol on codeofreality.com. What do you think is writing this code? I think it is kind of like the Akashic Records. It basically writes itself. Both writes the possibility of reality and then registers everything that is possible according to what was written. Thank you for the question, Natty Penny. Perhaps a better question to ask is what isn't consciousness? I don't think anything is not consciousness, but like I said before, I think the addressing the specifics still needs to happen. So it doesn't really solve the problem. What's up, Mark? What's up, Carson? Is there any materials, substances that code doesn't work on or appear different to be altered? So far, no. I drink quite a bit of water, Ebony. I've not really heard mention, but it's great for Lawrence funding the movie. Great news. Who's Lawrence? Sorry, Mark? The protocol, I mean, it's on the website. Just codeofreality.com, Fernando. Codeofreality.com, and then on the main page, you will have a tab that says protocol. It's super simple. The name of the website is right on the screen. Codeofreality.com. You just need one more click, which is the protocol. That's it. It's very easily arranged, so you can just navigate to any page. Let's see if I missed. Well, I'm sure I'd have any interesting questions. I think we went through those. Again, just saw the Narek's comment about again about Andres and Kurt. Really happy about that question. Ooh. Wow, so many comments. Thank you, guys. Oh, man. All right, well, couldn't find anything I haven't seen yet, surprisingly. Did anyone try to video for I guess film the code? Can it be seen while a molecule? Yeah, you can see it still in the film. Casey, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you. Are there studies being done on how the mind or body changes while viewing the visualization of the code? Whenever I view or visualize the code, I have an interesting response to it where my whole body starts moving in a circular motion. Interesting. I've never heard of this before. I immediately knew something was different about my body. Huh. Does it feel like weird, positive, negative? Like what is it? What is the specifics? And I would love to hear more, Frost. This is first time I'm hearing something. This is very interesting. How many times have you looked at the code? And also, if you can fill out the report on codeofreality.com, that would be super helpful. But please tell me more about this. This is super interesting. Do I have freedom of choice? No. Freedom of choice is not a coherent idea in general. It doesn't matter what kind of world you're describing. You can't actually describe a world in which freedom of choice is a real thing. Oh, guess he was trying to come on. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Yeah. So I was thinking about I've been working on a way to analyze. I don't know. I'll send you a couple files real quick. You want to take a look at them, or is that not possible on your phone?
Not doing a live, but
Okay,
I will.
cool.
Yeah, but I will. I can look at them today, and then tomorrow when I do the live, we can talk about them if you want.
Yeah. So basically, what I got going on is I have a toroid image animated, and then I have embedded in it symbols that in frequencies not visible to the naked eye.
Okay.
And until the molecule gets in you, then the symbols become apparent, clear as day.
Sure.
So I'm working on it. So that image could then be analyzed with a Fourier model or something it's called, that will show a scientist that's not on the molecule where those symbols would be. So I can then, or anybody could then say, describe to that person what they're seeing and where they're seeing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's what you were trying to explain to me. I mean, that combined with what Carter figured out with the sensors might be super interesting to combine together. That would be
yeah, and the laser too, because it all comes out of that same spectrum.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
did you already email me the files?
I will.
Okay, please do. Nico, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing amazing. Loving Nashville, man. It's incredible.
Yeah. How does Cosmo like it?
Oh, he loves it, man. The nature here is unbelievable.
Are you in like Nash, like downtown, or
outside, right outside.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. And it's cool, so the dogs love it. It's their favorite thing.
Yeah. I had a question. So, Andrew Gallimore and one of his, they call him Patient Zero from the DMTX.
Okay.
They recently did a podcast with Aubrey Marcus.
Mhm.
And I forget the name of the guy. I think his name might be Chris. But he said that the entities were really confused how he was able to stay there so long, right? They were
Mhm.
like kind of asking him, like, hey, how the hell are you here for more than 10 minutes, right? And they kind of left him alone, they said. But initially, all the entities were kind of confused and kind of checking him out. And so it's really, and then, they kind of got into a conversation of, are these like figment, are these like a function of your imagination? Because it seems like they're very real, like they're responding to real changes, right?
Mhm.
Like the duration of time that you're there. And I kind of was just curious, like, the DMTX is kind of an interesting thing. They're trying to do other kind of extended duration trips and stuff, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, what they're doing is super important work. Haven't watched this conversation yet because I was busy with the move. But yeah, I mean, I think some people commented on it in our groups, and I think some people said, so happy that Gallimore is coming around and acknowledging these entities are real. I don't think that at any point he thought they were not real. I think there's just in his public sphere, he has to kind of be careful when he's voicing it with absolute certainty.
I think Gallimore, it's really interesting because, like, even with the laser, like, kind of skepticism that he's had, like, it kind of makes me feel like, is he open-minded or not open-minded? But then on that podcast, he came out and he said, these are for sure intelligent agents, is what he calls them.
Yeah.
And
I think it's just that he feels with me he felt the need, either merited or unmerited, but he felt the need, I feel, to correct course because he felt that the claim is too strong. I disagree, but I think that's where it was coming from, and that's fine.
But if you consider the agents in the DMT space to be real, then why wouldn't you consider the code to be real?
Because there would still be there would still be artifacts in the space that are kind of like half mind made. They're more an amplification of what your brain is doing in our space versus, because notice that he's very focused on what's beyond the veil, right? So when you go there, you meet the real thing, and it's his impression, or the way that I understand it, is that when you're on this side of the veil, it's much more possible that what you're seeing is actually just kind of like extravagant amplifications of your already existing sensory perception that is amplified by the molecule. And this is exactly the central claim that I'm putting on the table, that no, some of that real information is right here, and we can absolutely interact with it, which is what I'm claiming the laser to be.
Without a doubt.
Okay, and then one more thing. Sorry, Casey. I was listening to the telepathy tapes again, and the kids talk about this kind of like interdimensional chat room, right? Like that's what the hill is. Mm-hmm. Do you think the code might be like an interdimensional chat room kind of feed?
I think it's the physical observation of where all this information lives. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I think it's basically it's the pipes through which all the water runs. It's the main. That's where all the wires are kept. It's in this in-between space. That's how all the information is actually being transmitted between one place to another place. It's literally the internet of the universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like the command feed, right? Like just the raw feed of it.
Literally like the internet itself, like the behind, like the web. It is the web. It's like the thing on which the internet lives. All the software, all the stuff that is on top of it are just ways to read what is in the web. But the web is the structure. It's the actual raw information that is moving from one place to another. And I think that's what it is.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said computers are thinking rocks. This is so funny. So I will, because we're going to have the members chat in a moment, I will slowly adjourn this one. And then if you're not a member, please come join the membership program on YouTube, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. Join the membership program. And I think from the first tier, the weekly chats lives are available, so you'll be able to join. And we have a much more targeted, much more private conversation once a week. And it's going to happen now in 15 minutes. Again, it's on YouTube, Dango Thoughts. And the membership also includes Zoom calls with me. I think from the second tier up, it includes early access to all my content and these weekly lives and private stuff on my life that will only exist on YouTube members and nowhere else. If you want to follow me across any other platform, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and on Instagram. It will be Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. I highly recommend that you join YouTube at least just as if not a member, it's just following the channel, just because there's a lot of information there that I'm going to be releasing very soon. And one point I do want to make, because somebody mentioned free will in general, I think it is an important point to understand. Free will never comes for the ride, no matter what you postulate about the world. In fact, this is actually one of the biggest mysteries that seem to be under investigation of the highest realms, which is nothing seems to have free will, and yet everybody experiencing this agency of some sort. But it's, of course, the idea that you're somehow outside of reality making decisions into reality is an incoherent idea. Whatever the substrate is, however many dimensions there are, there's always some state, as somebody pointed out here, that gives rise to the next state, and you're part of it, whatever it is that you are. You're never outside of existence making that decision and then going back to existence to make that decision and live with the consequences of that decision. That decision is made by the same kind of unfoldment that any, even just a completely inert world would have, and yet there's some kind of experience of it, some kind of an agency. That is actually the conundrum. All right, so just want to thank everybody, especially all the people that are contributing their time, their money to help the project grow. Ebony and Chris and Devin and Nico and Casey, thank you so much, everybody. Irv and Aaron, the director of the film that we're working on. Check out the YouTube trailer. The Discovery is going to be coming out the end of the year. Who am I forgetting? Owl, Bradley, love you, brother. What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting people. Mikhail. Yeah. Love you all, guys. Thank you so much for all the members, and thank you so much for all the community. People who are showing up on a regular basis. Thank you, Juan, for the rose and of making this community what it is, which is a growing pool of people that are interested, fascinated, and all want the front seats to this incredible unfoldment that is happening in front of us. We're going to experience some wonderful things, people. The world is amazing. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. And anybody who's a member and want to join, or if you want to join to be a member, please come join YouTube. And if you do join being a member, notice the comment that you have when you join. Please email me with the word new member and then your tier and name, whatever it specifies. But the email has to start with new member because that way it separates it from the other emails and I can see it right away. All right, guys. Much love. Peace and love. See you, Nico. See you, Casey. See you guys. Oh, you should definitely follow Nico and Casey. They're absolute regulars. Casey was also part of our movie. He came to help us with the project, with the experiment, and is working on his own theoretical framework that also has an experimental component, which is what he was just describing. And he will send me an email, detailed email about it. We'll discuss it in the next live. You should follow him on TikTok. It's CAW_AHA. Once again, it's CAW_AHA. And Nico Mackey. I always forget Mackey or McKay. McKay, right?
Yeah, McKay.
McKay, right. Nico McKay, which is way cooler, by the way. NIKOMACKAY. Once again, it's NIKOMACKAY. You guys should follow them. Nico also happens to be a scientist, and it's always incredible to know that we have scientists who are listening to this channel and a part of it. And Casey is also an integral part of this project because he was also doing experiments live, which nobody ever stepped in to do, and he did, and people loved it. So we love you, brother. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace and love. See you in the members live in less than 15 minutes. Ciao. See you guys. See you in a bit.